In the midst of South Korea's entertainment world that is loud and full of highlights, BTS's Jungkook name is again at the center of public discussion. Not because of scandal, nor because of legal controversy, let alone moral violations. But ironically, it was precisely in this flawless condition that Jungkook was again attacked by netizen opinions. This phenomenon raises a big question that continues to resonate among fans and observers of the entertainment industry. Why does Jungkook remain under attack, even when he has done nothing wrong? Jungkook has always been known as an almost sterile figure from scandals. Since her debut at a very young age, she has grown in the face of cameras, the media, and millions of pairs of eyes that demand perfection. His every move was analyzed, his every expression interpreted, and his every silence interpreted as something worthy of suspicion. In the cruel world of K-pop, popularity is often a double-edged sword, and Jungkook seems to be right in the middle of that blade. In recent times, opinion attacks on Jungkook have arisen not from facts, but from assumptions. His calm manner of speech is perceived as cold. His attitude of rarely replying to rumors was considered haughty. His choice to be more silent is considered a sign of indifference. In fact, for those who followed Jungkook's journey from the beginning, this attitude is precisely consistent with his personality. He is not the type who likes to defend himself in public spaces, nor is he a figure who likes to respond to criticism with harsh statements. Jungkook chose to work, create, and let the results speak. But in the fast-moving era of social media, silence is often perceived as a mistake. Netizens, especially those who don't really know Jungkook, build their own narratives. Short video cuts, context-free snippets, and sensational titles are the main fuel for opinion formation. In a matter of hours, a perception can turn into an internet version of truth, albeit without any valid evidence. This phenomenon shows how Jungkook is no longer seen as a human being, but as a symbol. It's too popular to be left alone. His consistent achievements, his global influence, and massive fanbase often fueled collective envy. In mass psychology, the one who is at the top is often targeted, not because of his mistakes, but because of his successes. What is rarely talked about is the psychological impact of this kind of opinion attack. Jungkook is not just an idol. He is a human being who since adolescence has borne the burden of the world's expectations. He grew up with the demands to always be perfect, always humble, always friendly, but also not to shine so much as to be considered threatening. These contradictory standards are almost impossible for anyone to meet. Some fans recalled how Jungkook once revealed that he often blamed himself, even for things that were beyond his control. In this context, netizen opinion attacks are no longer just criticism, but layered emotional pressure. When a person is attacked for no apparent reason, the sense of security is slowly eroded and self-confidence is tested. Interestingly, instead of responding with anger, Jungkook showed consistency in his attitude. He continues to work with high professionalism, still shows dedication to music, and still maintains a good relationship with the fans. This attitude, for some, is precisely the new reason to attack him. When Jungkook did not react as the public expected, he was again deemed inappropriate. Here lies the biggest irony. Jungkook was attacked not because he was wrong, but because he didn't live up to the narrative that some netizens wanted. He was not dramatic enough, not defensive enough, and not explaining himself to the public enough. In fact, there is no obligation for an artist to open up his entire personal space for the sake of satisfying the curiosity of others. The South Korean entertainment industry itself is not without its share. A system that positions idols as perfect products creates the illusion that they may be judged at any time. When an idol shows his human side, he is considered flawed. But when he is too calm and restrained like Jungkook, he is suspected. In this framework, Jungkook seems to be in an awry position. For ARMY, the BTS fans, the attack on Jungkook is nothing new. But every time it happens, old wounds seem to open up again. They see how Jungkook, who worked hard from a young age, contributing greatly to the group's success and the global music industry, still has to face unfounded accusations. For them, it is no longer a matter of defending idols, but of justice and empathy. Jungkook's case reflects a broader phenomenon of judgmental culture in the digital age. Opinions become weapons, and netizens become judges without process. In this situation, facts are often defeated by perception, and truth is drowned out by virality. Jungkook is just one of the most vivid examples of how extreme popularity can invite attacks, even in the absence of scandal. Ultimately, the question that needs to be asked is not what Jungkook did wrong, but rather why it is so easy for the public to attack someone who did nothing wrong. Is it about Jungkook, or about the need for some to drop a figure that shines too much? Jungkook stood his ground, not because he was immune to criticism, but because he chose not to dissolve in it. In his silence, he shows a power that is rarely realized. And perhaps, that is precisely where the most honest answer lies. It is not Jungkook who is in trouble, but the way the world treats those who are at the top without scandal, but still considered worthy of attack. Continuing the narrative, the reality facing Jungkook further demonstrates how thin the line is between criticism and persecution of opinion in the digital space. When a public figure is constantly highlighted for no concrete reason, this pattern turns into something more insidious: the normalization of attacks on the individual simply because he exists and shines. Jungkook faced not only the occasional negative comment, but repeated waves of opinion, as if the public was always waiting for the slightest crack to come back to attack him. There are moments where netizens question very personal and trivial things. The way Jungkook lowers his head, the way he speaks more slowly, and even the way he chooses the time to rest is often the subject of speculation. In a healthy logic, these are personal rights. But for Jungkook, what is normal is often perceived as suspicious. This is the price to be paid by someone who is too famous, too successful, and too loved by many. What makes this situation even more complicated is the existence of double standards applied by the public. When other idols are open and expressive, they are praised as authentic. But when Jungkook chose a more quiet and closed path, he was branded problematic. Netizens seem to forget that each individual has a different way of dealing with pressure. Jungkook is not the type to vent his emotions in front of the camera, and that's not a mistake, but rather a choice. Some entertainment industry observers judge that Jungkook has long been a projection of the public's collective emotions. He was adored in excess, then dropped with the same intensity. In this dynamic, Jungkook is no longer seen as a human being with emotional limits, but as a public figure who is considered obliged to meet everyone's expectations. When those expectations are not met, disappointment turns into an attack. Ironically, the more Jungkook maintains his stance and avoids controversy, the greater the pressure directed at him. It's as if calmness is a mistake, and consistency is something to suspect.